Hey, morning, folks. What is up? What's going on in the hood? All right. Let me make sure everybody gets in okay. Guten Morgen, as they would say in France. All right, let's do this. Whoop. Good. My friends, my people, my tribe. Where the Indians at? Good. All right, let me get everybody in here. Give me 1 second. Then we're going to pate. Bam. Boom. Dave, what up, baby? All right, let's get to work, baby. Let me see what you guys are all watching. Hey, Jen Bunny, how you doing? Dave, what up, baby? Let me see. Dave, how you been, man? You know what? We got a chat on the phone. It's been too long. Shop. I'd keep it, but watch that 68. ASTS. Dude, this one feels weird. I think yesterday might have been a little bit of a reversal candle. You'll have to be careful on that one. MU fades off every day. UPST was really nice yesterday too. Michael Hall, how you doing? Hey, Mr. Mac, what up, baby? Hey, UPST I'd keep too. That's a good list, Dave. Let me see what you're doing with the NPH. Hold on. I'm unsure on this one. Is it a long? Is it a short? I think it's a short. Look, there's going to be weird candles on all the stocks because of yesterday's kind of rollover. So I definitely see that. Hey, Michael, hold on. Your watch lists are way too long, I think. You're in too big for your britches right now. IBIT you can keep. SMH. Hey, so guys, SMH is a little bit stuck in range, so you have to have to trade around that too. Baba, you got a range break. Okay, Baba sucks to trade, but I think you're okay on that one. I think you can do NVO too. All right, cool. Morning, guys. What's up, Nolan? How you doing? First of all, welcome to the big show. We've got a small gap up in the market to be expected in some manner due to the fact that we just had such an insane dump going into the close yesterday. So yesterday's price action was very interesting. And the reason it was interesting was that at one point we were up 2% on the QQQs. And we ended up finishing down 1% and some change, right? And so it just looks like a huge candle here. I think we ended up down, 1% and some change. So it's a huge reversal. It's very rare that you get a 2% gap up and then you fade it back the whole way. Like that's not usually how it works. So you want to be a little bit mindful when you're looking at the market because we did come down into support. We were watching the support in the chat room. I was thinking if we got back down intraday to this kind of 433, 434, we'd start bouncing. And it already did that. So we'll have to be a little bit careful today. But we've got ourselves some conflicting signals, right? Number one, we're holding over the supports on this bounce trade, but we faded off this gain. Yesterday, we needed a continuation yesterday, I think, to really feel good. Like, hey, we've got a nice bouncy McGee that's happening. Without that, like with this kind of rollover, it makes things a little bit more difficult. A couple things to keep an eye on over these coming days. So the sell-off was triggered by the bond action that usually comes around like 1 o'clock-ish. And that bond action threw the market off. And, with all this talk of interest rates and bonds and stuff like that, we used to have this a little bit last year where the 1 p.m. bond market would just nail the market. And so that's something we'll have to take a look at today and make sure we don't get, nobody gets stuck into that. So now we're starting to bounce up. And the problem with this market that I'm seeing of recent is that all the moves are happening on these gaps, right? So now the market gaps up 1.5%. That's typically, like, say when we were going here, the ATR on the market was 5 points. Now the ATR is a lot bigger because of the crash days, but we're already gapping up what was our old ATR. And so you start gapping up like that, you don't have necessarily a lot of room. And then what ends up happening is you kind of gap up right into these resisted zones, and you end up with just a really kind of weird situation where you don't know if you should long or short, right? So for me personally, I believe there's two things that we can stick with in this market. Number one is very fast day trading. And then the second part is going to be that, you want to not be doing any overnights, and you want to be really, really focusing in on, earnings plays. What I mean by earnings plays is like there's these stocks every day, right? For example, we had UPST yesterday cruise around. These are going to do whatever it's going to do. So you have this kind of action here. I mean, UPST goes down to the mid 28s, runs up to 36. That's a catalyst play right there, right? So what we want to be doing is really focusing in on what stocks that have, right, the catalysts that we need, because then you're not going to have to sit there and worry too much about what's happening, on the macro side, which is right, your big picture kind of indexing. So be mindful of that. Quick, just note, we do start boot camp class tonight. So old students, you guys are more than welcome to come in and retake class as many times as you want. I know some of you guys, like Sal, will be, he's been coming into class for 10 years plus, so he'll always be coming in. So you guys are more than welcome to come in. We always have some new nice changes going on. Now let's take a look at the indexes on the big picture side of things first, and then we'll start narrowing it down. So the QQQs is in the chop zone, right? We're above support, but we're below resistance. So we're sandwiched in. The sandwich, guys, is the toughest part to trade. Why? When you're in the sandwich, you have to be aware of all the booby traps, meaning there's always some type of resistance on top and support on the bottom. So what often will happen is when the market looks like it's a short, it becomes a long. And when the market looks like a long, it becomes a short. Case in point, right, yesterday. And that's what's going to happen oftentimes when you get stuck into these kind of ranges. So we want to just be a little bit careful as we go through this, that yes, we are holding, and there are a lot of bullish stocks going on, but you don't want to get too aggressive right now. There's times to be aggressive, and that's when you're trending up like this. Let's take a look. And guys, keep an eye on the video. I just saw a little bit of a negative note come out on that earlier. If you see on the SPY, we actually have quite a bit of room to fall. We didn't even test the 200-day moving average. So you have still room to fall, right? Like I would say probably the big support is between the 200, somewhere into this zone here, right? Like you have a little bit more congestion right here. So you got room to fall on the SPY, and you'll have to you have to be a little bit mindful of that as we start to go through this, right? We got support on the QQQs, but on the SPY, we've got this kind of dusting that's been happening. The IWM held its 200-day moving average, popped up for a couple days, and then rolled right over on the 50-day moving average. So you have, right, a little bit of what? Cross currents. You're above support, but you're under resistance. Where's the easiest spot to play? Which when you have no resistance on top, right? And you have all the supports on the bottom, then your dips get bought and so on and so forth. This makes things a little bit more tricky. So just kind of be mindful. Guys, keep an eye on that in the video. See if it starts to roll. Woo. That's nasty, right? So this is also small caps, not bearish, but not bullish. We're right in between. Like if you see here, this is the nasty range. So we have nothing to see on the indexes, but the good thing is we're in earnings season, and we've got earnings McGee's all over the case. Guys, if anybody sees any good PR plays, let me know. So let's take a look at the gappers here, and then we'll kind of dig through and see what kind of earnings plays we have there was so many of them yesterday, right? So you can keep trading these. Like you can see, like even like shitty names like ACB, when they have earnings out, like they'll have this kind of subsequent follow through, and you can keep playing them. You have all these kind of names that are like setting up here, right? So just be mindful. Even Lyft yesterday, right? Even Lyft yesterday had some nice follow through, like on the downside, right? You ended up popping and then fading off. That's an Arvin type of play. It's good stuff right there, right? So just kind of be mindful. There are so many things you can do where you don't have to like sit there and watch the index. You can see Rivian pops down, right? Jams right into some resistance, and then right you fade off a nice dollar into the close. You can get size on it because it has so much liquidity. If you need to roll 5, 6, 7,000 shares, you can. Airbnb, right? You gap down, pop into the right resistance, and you fizzle off nice 6, 7 points. That'll do it, right? That'll do it. So these are the things that you want to be mindful of, and we want to kind of keep an eye on, right? Shop also. ACMR had a nice run off the opening dip. So these are the names that we really want to focus in on. Now, let's take a look at today's gappers, and let's see if we can find a new one. I'll take a look at that PCT for you too, brother. So what do you got here? Earnings flash. Harrow Post, Q3 loss for a street estimate of 11, so you lose 0.6. Hi, Mom. Hi. What's up? Oh, but you's walking? Yeah. All right. Cool. So now you got Harrow. This one I don't think will do enough liquidity. If you see here, it does about 500,000 shares. This is the kind of gapper stock that I personally would like to play. But Armando, what up, baby? How you doing? What's up, baby? What are you watching? Sweet. Aspen. Hey, this stock has a history of making moves. This stock has a history of making moves. I actually wouldn't be opposed to this. You see Aerogels reports 117 versus street estimate of 100. So you're beating on the earnings. It does have a history of making moves here too. So if you look here, right, if you look in the past, the last time it had a little bit of an earnings out, right, it actually ended up going for a few days. So let's roll with this thing. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it. Let's add this for now. Now, what's the difference between the gap now versus the gap before? Well, the gap before on earnings, it was clearing out all this space, right? And so you have no levels of resistance on top. It ends up being just a lot easier of a trade, okay? So we have a lot more clean. Now we're kind of gapping up, or we're gapping up into resistance. Things get a lot more dicey. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful because the location is a little bit tricky. Hey, Mr. CL Williams, this is called TC2000. It's like $55 a month. You can do all your charting, scanning. You can have all these layouts and stuff too. So I use, you can make layouts, like endless amounts of layouts. And it's just super modular. Like I've got layouts for options, scanning your daily charts, even testing some scans over here. So you can do all sorts of stuff, and you can get it it's pretty cheap. If you need, and if you want my layouts or something, just message me. I'll send them over. Aspen. I think we add this over here. Now, I just don't like I don't like the location, but we'll live with it for now. Campo. Okay, so Campo here has a gap up on earnings. It's a little bit thin. You're talking about a $600 million company, which is not really my particular style. It doesn't have enough liquidity usually when you do these. So let's toss that one. Look at this. Nvidia's fading on that note. Yeah, I'd be Surprised if it holds the green today. Loosey goosey, nothing here. So now this is up our alley right here. All right. So you got to break out the highs. You got to break out the highs. Shark Ninja, first of all, right? Shark Ninja is just an awesome. Shark Ninja is an awesome name. So you got to break out the highs. You've got revenues of 1.25 versus street estimates of 1.09. So you got an earnings beat, which is good, right? Now what we want to be doing, right now what we want to be doing is looking for patterns. I'd love to get this on a quick pullback, right? The first pullback. It's a $10 billion company, so it's very mid-cappy. Low float, 139. Anything under 250, I consider low float. I think we're in for a little hootenanny over here. Let's roll with it. Hey, Armando, let's take a look at that. Which miner's your favorite? Dude, look at Eli Lilly. So it's been grinding down for a while. Now you're clearing over the 50-day moving average, right? These guys, I mean, they're just probably making all the money on Ozempic right now. But this is probably something that we can add in. Now, with this company in specific, you probably have to trade the options on it. It's $1,000 stock, but I think we're in for a little fandazzle. Let's add it. Let's add it. This might not be for everybody because of the price, I know, but still, I think we can get ourselves some good stuff going. Let's get this thing rolling. Under Armour, dude, revenues. Dude, this one is a thick stock. So Under Armour is probably due for a pop because it's been basing here for so long. It's probably due for a pop. It does trade a little bit thick and it's a little bit of a grinder. So for some of you guys that there's traders that need like fast trades, right? And then there's traders that are okay, like trading a trend or grinder, what we'd call a steady Eddie. So steady Eddie is like your Bank of America or like a JP Morgan where, it can go up 3-4%, but it kind of does it like really slow, right? Now, Under Armour is also like that. It's a little bit of a steady Eddie. Now, for some people, trading steady Eddies is the way to go because if as long as you're not getting too crazy, you don't make mistakes and you'll end up trading a little bit better. So I wouldn't be opposed to it, but not my exact cup of tea. I'm going to add it just due to the location. We'll keep an eye on it. You can see, I don't know why Under Armour has two tickers, but it does. ETHU, this is a 2X Ethereum ETF. Let's take a look and see. So I see Ethereum up 5%, Bitcoin up 5%, Sol up 7%. Guys, is there any other Ethereum ETFs or is this the big one? It's been doing enough liquidity. It hit 5 million shares yesterday. If we see cryptos running, we could theoretically play this gap fill on Ethereum at 6, and then you've got all this room to the top if you see cryptos going, right? They don't always hold very well, but I think you could add it. I'm going to add it for now. Somebody send me the other Ethereum ETS when you get a chance. Zaman, my man. What time is it over there? 3? Chunk. Saxo up 7%. The range on Saxo, guys, you should watch Saxo every day as long as the SMH holds up as a day trading vehicle. Why? Well, it's doing 200 million shares a day in volume, and its ATR is 20%. Think about that. The ATR is 20%, and it does 200 million shares in volume. That's ETHA is not the new ones. I think that's the old grayscale ones, though. This is nice, right? This is a daily trader. It's already done 12 million shares in volume. So there's stocks, there's buckets to your names, right? You have your earnings plays. These are stocks that have PRs out. And then you have your bucket. Your second bucket is what? Just go-to stocks. Stocks that have huge, huge range that you can just scalp around back and forth, right? NVIDIA is a second bucket stock. AVGO is a second bucket stock, right? A Meta, like things like that, right? Something that's just high beta and liquid. So I keep always a little bit of Soxel on your watch list. Look at Silent Q's a turd. Edit turd. Hey, so Hood's got earnings out today, all right? Now, there's a couple things probably Hood's talking about right now, their earnings reports and stuff like that. When the market gets volatile, right, the gens tend to trade a little bit more. So you end up with more heat on something like Hood. So their trading volumes are probably up through the roof right now. This stock is awful to trade, but you can see here, you beat on revenues in a decent amount. Post Q2 revenue, 682 versus street estimates of 682 versus 642. It's a decent sized beat. You know, right now, what you're seeing, especially with some of the big boys, I mean, they're all beating by like $1 million, $2 million, right? A $40 million beat is pretty good. Now it's going to open up in front of resistance. And so it ends up being a little bit tricky. It would need to push over this 9 EMA. And then you have the suction zone right here that you can have a little bit of fun with. So let's add this with the caveat, right, that it's going to need a little bit more work. Let's add it for now. Ooh, a little four square. Shift payments, adjusting net income, gross incomes rise. Look at this thing. 827 versus 637. That's pretty good. Not bad. Now, this thing's in the middle of nowhere, right? So it needs to kind of clear out all these MAs before you can play it. So if I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, these earnings are okay, and I want to play it, I need it to clear out here. So let's look at a 30-minute chart, and you can see the level right here. If you start to clear that out and build on it, now you got something, right? Now you got something. All right. Let's see. Not bad. It's a little bit thin, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. D-Dog also got earnings out. So this is a bonanza of tech earnings today. We got all sorts of hootenannies. Hey, Armando, by the way, T2000 looks like they did a new beta, and it looks like there's some new fun stuff happening. Okay, D-Dog. It's opening up right into resistance. Thanks, Vaporizer. I don't like that when it opens right into all this congestion. That's a pass for me. Connell. So this is just your Coinbase ETF. Dude, it faded off so hardcore yesterday. I have no faith that this thing can hold its bounces. You can see here, like it's just stuck inside a nasty range. And until this starts to clear out, these charts have been so demolished. They're going to need months and months to heal. Right? They're going to need months and months to heal. So you gotta be a little bit careful on it. Yeah, I don't know if we got anything on that bad boy. Hey, Pro Quan, US 30, is that the Dow Jones? I don't know if we have a US 30 per se, but is that the Dow? PLTR, look at this. It faded off its whole gap here, right? So it popped up, pulled back, and it faded off the whole thing and red rolled. Now it's popping back through. Like, I don't want to see that, right? When you have this kind of thing, because there's going to be just too much congestion. So till it clears and holds 28, like I have no interest in this one. Chunk. All right, cool. Now let's take a look and see what kind of like PRs we got out there. All right, let me take a look here at the Dow. So the Dow looks very similar to the rest of them. You know, it ran into resistance yesterday and rolled, but now it's kind of back to support. So you're just stuck in a box. For me, when I see indexes stuck in a box, then I don't want to necessarily trade the indexes. I want to look for names that are going to be a lot cleaner. right? I need names that are a lot cleaner because until you kind of trade around in this box, I mean, you can kind of buy low, sell high inside the box, but you don't have really too much momentum. And when you see that, like that range, then you go to the individual stocks and you'll have yourself a lot more, you'll have a lot more edge, I would say is the proper term. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Let's move this thing along here. So, if he's sleeping, keep him downstairs, no? Yeah. Batu. No. That's his diaper changing table.
We already changed the diaper.
Hi, Batu. Hold on 1 sec, guys. Hi, Batu. Oh, he's awake.
No, he's sleeping.
Oh. Hi, Batu. Oh, are you feeling a little sleepy? Okay, ready? I'm gonna lay you down. Oh, you get yourself some sleep, okay? Oh, your grandma's gonna sit right next to you. Oh, grandma's gonna sit right next to you. Look at that. You got all the fun, buddy. Suija Batu. Oh, hi. Oh, sleep a little. Oh, I see you. Suija Batu.
So you got some Friday.
I know. Why'd you bring him up?
Because you're sleeping.
So?
I thought you would sleep upstairs.
Oh, hey guys, sorry about that. My little guy's trying to take a nap. All right, let's take a look at the economic calendar. So there's a couple things that are going to be important today, I think, right? So number one, we have the jobless claims. I don't think that's anything right now. The big ones, I think, are going to be these. This 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m., that's the mamma jamma. Like if that shits the bed, I think that'll probably put a little bit of pressure on the market, and we'll have to be a little bit careful. Yesterday, those bond auctions is what really goosed the market down. So if that thing fails or it doesn't catch the bid the way it needs to, then we're going to have ourselves a little bit more nastiness, I think. Right? You got Barker at 3. Bum, 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 bum. Shareholder meetings, blah, blah, blah. Look at this top trade name. Not much there. Let's see if we got any good upgrades. So ARM got an upgrade from Daiwa. Not even sure who that is. Might be worth keeping a watch. It's sitting right on the 200-day moving average. SIVA edit, HubSpot, NVRO. And then look on the downside. Bumble's getting hit. That's just wrong. BMBL. Oh, yeah. Bumble's $5, huh? $5. CDLX. Dun, 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 Disney, FSLY. Junk. And top initiation. So I wouldn't say anything too crazy. Maybe sell H. You might get some sell pressure in that if it kind of holds under that 40, which it looks like it already is. So we'll keep an eye on that bad boy too. I think that might be, it's got good range on it lately. Dun, 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 dun. And you can see here, these are all the earnings before the market. So we've seen D-Dog, Donut. Let's see what kind of Invex. Bump. Next got earnings out too. Dude, it's looking nasty. I think we had that one. All right, cool. So I think we got ourselves a base of stuff. Let's take a look at some of the earnings that are shitting themselves. right? So you see here, like CDLX is down 50%. So not much you can do with it, right? But what we're looking for is something with big range that's also crapping the bed on earnings.
Oh, hi, Batu.
Bros. Dutch bros. This could, it's down. The SSR will be on this, but this may have potential for us later. Setting earnings nasty, and you got this big bear flag here. Dude. All right. Hey, Fook. Fook LTs. Hey, you got a breakdown on this one. Oh yeah. Let's roll with this. Add that one. You got an NVAX too, but too close to the 200-day moving average. We short and long. I mean, it's for us, it doesn't matter. In the same day, we might be shorting and longing oftentimes. Yesterday we were long all morning, and then when the market rolled over, you start shorting. When the setups show, you can see here, right? Sell it just starting to really get nasty. Yeah, this downgrade is going to take it down into this, man. It's just getting lower and lower and lower. Now, the issue on this one is it's so oversold. It's down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. When you have that, like, you really need them to pop back up. Like, you don't want to come in. You don't want to come in too hot shorting something low ever on a day 8 of a move. So when you're chasing stocks, meaning like you're shorting low or you're buying breakouts, day 1, day 2, you can do it. Maybe even a day 3. But once you get into day 4s, day 5, day 6s of the move, you're not going to be able to get any upside. Like if you start chasing them, it'll start going back the other way. I think we got just easier plays out there. Now, let's talk about some day 2 plays, right? SMCI really shit the bed yesterday. I think if this one pops through, like, let's take a look. If this thing can get to, let's see here. If this thing can pop into the, say, 500, right? Somewhere in the 500 to 510 zone. Like, see, you got all this. This is where the breakdown was yesterday. So if you're looking, right, this is where the breakdown was yesterday, about 510, right? So somewhere into this spot right here, if you can push up through it, then I think you're going to get a nice, easy location. Yeah, Pro, you have the perfect location. You can't just do it to do it, but if you get a good spot, it's always okay. So SMCI, let's keep this on the list, but we want to only be shorting this into the pops. I want you to add in UPST for a potential day 2 if the market gets a little crazy. FTNT also, big push on earnings yesterday, had a nice trender. I want this as a day 2 if it breaks over 71.82. And then, look, on the other side of things, we may have to short if we see it. Some of these semiconductors, they got smoked out yesterday. You saw AVGO, all of these just, man, nasty, right? You want to, if these things fade the gaps off, then I think they're going to come back and probably retest these lows. So add in AVGO. We could do NVIDIA, right? AMD, they all look the same, right? But I think AVGO, NVIDIA tend to trade the easiest of recent. And then we got all these earnings plays that I think are going to hold. Look at the range on this ASPN. Look at the range on this thing. This thing just pops through $2.50. That's what we want to see, right? So this is top of the list. SN, you got a breakout here. Now, you don't just buy the breakout to buy the breakout. Remember, when you trade at the open, you need a handful of things, right? You need an ORB. That's a minimum 3 sideways candles in the break of the top of the range, or you're going to hit the first pullback into the 9 EMA, 20 EMA zone, right? Those are the only 2 things you can do. We got Lilly. We got a little Under Armour, Ethereum. You got Hood here. I don't like the location on it. It needs to get over this 9 EMA, which is 1873. All right. 4. Getting Soxel. And we got Sedig on the downside. Love Sedig. Right. Sedig on the downside. Heck yeah. Right. We got a couple of these bros. Sedig. There's a whole host of these stocks that are getting smoked up. I think Sedig's going to have the first pop if we can get it. Let's see what goes down on it. Good. Guys, class starts tonight. If you have any questions or anything, just give me a text, or you can always just email me. You got any questions, if you ever want to chat about anything, email me. Guys, let's go do what we do. I'll be in the Discord room. I'm firing on the engines, baby. Let's go have some fun. Yesterday was sick. The day before was sick. This whole last 2 weeks has been hot. You guys are more than welcome to come join us. Let's go do it. I'll put the Zoom link out, bros and non-bros and dominoes. Of course. Dude, Bumble. Man, I can't believe Bumble's $5. Da-da, da-da.